Hello there, and welcome to Alvarez's Diecast Customs. Today we're going to be customizing this Hot Wheels 1940s Ford truck. Seems to have been made up into a sort of a drag truck style. It's got the Harley Davidson motorcycles logos on the side. Would have been quite a cool looking car if it wasn't so tired and worn out. I do like the look of these old Fords. So let's just take a closer look at it. Yeah, it's very nice. I like the two-tone with the black and the white. Such a shame that it's so battered. I've already taken the time to drill the base out on this one. I like to start off with a 2mm drill bit and then work up to a 5mm to remove the main piece of the head off. I like to use these 5mm self-tapping screws to screw the base back on. It only requires the one screw on this one, as the front there it actually hooks through with the grill to hold the base on. And that in turn holds the interior and the window in. It's a bit grubby inside this one, that's for sure. Bit of gunk in there. It's a nicely detailed base on there as well. Axle looks a bit rusted. Seems to be coated in something as well. That just falls straight out. That one does as well, very little effort with those. There's that body. Yeah, there's like some gunk on the rear of it there. Looks like something had been spilt over it years ago. There's our window piece. It's in very good condition, that is. There's our interior. Some nice bits of detail there. It's got the racing interior with the single seater. And there's our body. We'll go and get that stripped. And we'll also get these wheels sorted out. We'll go swap them for someone else. Let's go and see our goddess, Super Pachaco, and see what she can do for us about these wheels. Offer those ones up. Ah, nice. What's that? Let's take a look at them. Nice. Oh, these are perfect. Yeah, definitely liking those. Some Hot Wheels Real Riders. So let's just test fit those onto this. Yeah, I really do like the way they go on there. As you can see, I've already stripped the body of its paint. Just popped it into a pot of paint stripper for about an hour and then scrubbed it off with an old toothbrush, running it under a hot water tap to remove it. You'll also notice I had the hood scoop there as well. I had to remove that by drilling it out. Didn't realise that was a separate piece until I took the paint off of it. So I'm just going to be using this fine diamond file just to work out some of these casting lines, as this bloody well had a lot of them. Be one of the worst bodies I've done, to be honest, for casting lines. Absolute mess. So let's make a start with it. Just working my way around this whole thing. Literally every part of it needed attention. Hell, even the rear fender wells didn't match up. The left one was larger than the right, so I had to widen the right hand one a bit more, just so it matched to the others. There we go, that's after a good amount of filing and sanding down. Really clean that out. I also removed the tail lights as well, because they were quite roughly sort of moulded. Didn't like them, so I just removed them entirely. So yeah, much better. Should just be test fitting these wheels again. Don't really like how narrow they are on the rear. They were like that originally with the ones it came with too. The wheels sort of sink in too far under the wheel, under the fender wells. So I'll be widening the track on those a little bit. Just be using my brass tubing that I like to use. I'll just be clipping these Real Riders, the original axles, in half, just using some wire cutters. There we go, the original axles slot straight into that brass tubing, which, as you'll see, allows me to alter the width of the track on these, which is just what I wanted. So I'll just be cutting a small tube out of this bit, and I'll can glue those original axles back into the brass tubing itself. Cuts very easily just using a simple scalpel, just rolling it back and forth, and it cuts it. This essentially allows me to cut these brass tubings without crushing them, as if I were to use some side cutters it would completely flatten the ends every time you could try to cut them. So onto this body, I'm going to be doing sort of a rat rod look to it. I've done this before on one of my builds, I think it was the Bone Shaker, so I'll be attempting it again, using this MIG ammo Enamel Wash in the light rust. Just be coating the entire body in this to begin with. This is straight onto the bare metal. I did beforehand just degrease the bare metal with some kitchen degreaser. This allows the paint to stick better. So yep, just go over this whole thing. And there we go, that's dried. I also went over with a quick matte coat from a spray can. Now I'm going to be adding some more weathering effects. So I'll be using this Citadel Agrax Earth Shade to begin with. This is essentially just a brown wash. So just liberally go over the entire thing using this as well. This I will use multiple times over. As you can see, that's the first coat. I also just wanted to pick out some extra details with some different paint colours on some of the body parts. So I'll be using this sort of dark green on a couple of the body areas, such as the front ring and the rear wing there. We also did the left hand door in a brown paint and the rear right wing on there with brown paint. Just gives a bit more sort of detail to it. And again, just going over with the Agrax Earth Shade, just really tying everything together, just looking at all, making it look all sort of rusted and worn, tarnished. I'll be also using this Citadel Known Oil, which is a black wash. This again, just going over it all again. It's working in layers with this stuff really, until I get the sort of tone that I'm after. So again, as you can see, just covering the whole thing. Not being neat with it, that's for sure. And now I'm just be using this Citadel Typhus Corrosion. It's basically just a sort of brown paint with a texture in it. This is perfect for sort of rusty areas and things that I want to make a little bit rougher. So I'll just be picking out certain areas on it, like the edges and things. Not smothering it though, just be careful with how much I'm putting on. Now I'll be using the Citadel Riser Rust, which is a dry brusher. Just brush this on dry over the Typhus Corrosion, brings out a really good sort of rusty texture. There we go, that's after that. I also detailed the headlights as well. I just used the Molotow chrome pen. Now I just want to bring out some trim detail on here with some of the chrome pieces. So all I'm going to do is literally just use the scalpel and just scrape away the paint from some of the raised areas. This reveals the shiny metal underneath. It gives sort of a very good realistic look to it. So just something else to catch the eye. Now is our interior piece. I've went over this with a primer coat straight from a spray can. Now I'll just be going over it with some Revell silver. Went over the whole thing. And on the base I went over that with a matte coat from a spray can of black. Now I'll just be using this silver Sharpie to pick out some of the nice details on the bottom of this. It's very nicely detailed on this chassis. Really liked it, so I thought I'd bring out a lot of the details on it, so I spent my time on this one. So there we go, some extra details on it there. I also used a sort of gold pen to highlight some of the turbines or whatever they were there. As you can see, I've done some extra details on that interior, just brought out the seat and the fuel tank on the rear. Just going over everything again with the Agrax Earthshade. Just trying to tie it all in. There we go, that's had a good coat of it. And the base as well, I give that a good coat, the Agrax Earthshade. Just had a couple of coats in the end. So I think you see me painting enough now. We can get on with putting this thing back together. There's our window piece. Went completely untouched, this piece. In very good condition considering the rest of the body. There's our interior piece. A couple of coats more of Agrax Earthshade, and there we go, that's sorted out. You'll notice I also went to the attention to detail for painting in the archways inside in black, and also there because you can still see that through some of the wheel wells. And there's our base. I went over quickly with some Weatherine powder, the anthracite grey, really tied it all together, and there's our lovely wheels. I lost the footage on me painting these, but I basically just took the original wheels, painted them in red and did a white outline to them, or the rims I mean, and then went over them with Agrax Earthshade as well. You also notice I painted the back sides of the wheels in black as well, and the axles, just to tie it all in, blend it all in together, so that no matter what angle you look at, it all looks correct. You don't see any sort of like unpainted areas or raw plastics and metals. And there's those screws, the 5mm self-tapping ones. Links in the description box down below if you want to purchase those off of eBay. Anyway, let's take a look at what we started with. Pretty cool looking truck to begin with. But yeah, definitely needed an overhaul. So here's what we ended up with. So this has been a very fun one for me. I do enjoy doing these sorts of builds. Lots of different techniques I used to achieve the look. Just really happy with the way it came out in the end. So let's just take a closer look at it. Yep, very pleased with this one, especially the wheels. I'm really happy with how those come out with the white and red contrasting with the body. Just got a really good look to it. You can just about see the green hint to some of those body panels there. Really gives sort of a different sheen to everything. I did go over the body in a matte coat straight out of the spray can as well, just to keep everything on there, because over time those paints will rub off. Yeah, very pleased with how this one came out. Just a great look to it. Sits really nicely on those wheels as well, and especially with the widened track on them. Just looks right. So I hope you enjoyed watching this one. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it, and what you would like to see me do in the future. I'm always open to suggestions. So I'll just leave you with some more shots of it. You'll also notice as well I actually attached some exhaust pipes on the rear of this. I actually forgot to mention those in the videos. It probably got lost in some of the footage I tried to record. So there we go, this has been Alvarez's Diecast Customs. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But before you go, so with all this bullshit going on in the world at the moment, we're probably all non-stop panicking and stressing out, I thought I'd do you a favour for the time being. Tagged on a song at the end of this, so just sit back, close your eyes and chill out for a bit. Let the song take you away for a while. So I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Enjoy.